Hey y'all, back on here, been a while. Today doing a review of a camper. So this is a 2022 Jayco Northpoint. It's 43 feet. And the number for it is a 377 RLBH. We did a lot of looking before we got our first camper. But this one we found at an RV show in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we had been looking for quite a while. And we're going to do something a little bit more modest, and walked into this one and just kind of fell in love with it. And so here it is. There's an interesting story with this and what we're doing now with camping that I'll get to at the end. But I thought doing these videos to me is kind of strange, because if you're doing it towards, dudes that are interested in the mechanical aspects of it and how things work and what trouble have you had, and is this a good camper? Is there such a thing as a good camper? Those kind of questions. So it's going to be geared more toward that. I'm gonna walk you around the outside. I'm not going to open up compartments and do all that stuff. You can find those videos. I'm going to talk about the mechanical things I like and dislike on the camper, which is overwhelmingly positive. And then I will go inside and show you a few things, and again, mostly focused mechanically speaking, and then go from there. And we are in the throes of about to do a renovation to this thing inside. It's going to get a paint job and all kinds of stuff my wife has planned, because we're gonna put it at a permanent site down at the beach. But so anyway, let's get into it. So starting at the front with this one, I did opt for a generator. So our generator is the 5.5 kilowatt 5500 watt Onan that the camper is prepped for. Yeah, I know those battery boxes look janky, and they are. I'll talk about that in a second too. So this generator at the time was about a $7,000 add-on. That sounds terrible. I priced campers recently, and now it's a $10,000 or $12,000 add-on. So I'm glad I did it, but I wouldn't want to do it again. These batteries here, I have 3 wet cell deep cycle interstate batteries. This is the second iteration of doing that. They have all sucked. And I don't let my batteries fully discharge. I don't deplete them. I keep them charged. Actually, I leave this camper plugged in all the time, so these batteries are constantly charged. I just find that those deep cycle batteries just don't perform well. So anyway, and we have another camper. Talk about that too. I went with lithiums, and I have just ordered 2 lithium batteries for this one before we set it up at the beach. Keeping at the front of this camper, there is one thing I do really like, is there is a lot of propane storage. So there are actually 3 40-pound bottles. On the other side is the 3rd bottle. You get that with the generator prep package, which we got. Again, the generator's been awesome. It only has like 12 hours on it. We rarely use it, but we have grandbabies and traveling. I just didn't want to be somewhere where there was a long-term power outage. And if you've ever been in a camper in the summertime, when the power went out, the temperature climbs very rapidly. So if you know that, or experience that, you'll appreciate that. So I don't regret it. We went with a Truma tankless water heater. This model actually had that option already on it. Give you a little glance at the Truma. Nothing big there. You can research the Trumas online. I have had 0 problems with our tankless water heater. It's actually been pretty amazing, and I like it. Some newer campers have, like the Montana we just got, came with a 16-gallon, and for a traditional water heater in a camper, that's pretty big capacity. Most of them you'll see 8, 10, 12, but that's not going to work with my family. They're water hogs. They take long showers, and they're not down with this off-gridding minimalist kind of water usage thing. I mean, judge us. That's just how it is. And so we don't do that. So I love this Truma water heater. I find that it sips propane. It uses a minimal amount. It's really been solid. Running above that there, of course, is the heater. No issues with our heater either. And so our slide outs here, I believe, you have to forgive me, they're a mix of Schwintech and some other type of slide out systems. I haven't had any problems. They've all been good. I'm gonna keep moving around here. You can see I did add Lippert slide toppers. I didn't buy the camper with them. I added them later. That was about a $4,000 addition, so it's painful, but I do like the slide toppers, and I'd recommend you get them. We bought that Montana, and we ordered them in the deal. You'll notice that my ladder's not too straight. I got a little aggressive backing into to the building one time and actually pushed her up against the back and bent that ladder a little bit, but no harm, no foul. Ladder's fine. This one does come with the option to add a camera. I've never done that. I recommend you do. I think the backup camera or the rear facing camera would be a fantastic option. I'm gonna do it eventually one day, because one day I'm gonna end up running into something, and I'm sorry, there's a cat aggravating me. And I actually have run into a camper at Myrtle Beach Travel Park. It was amazing. We were blessed that it didn't do more damage than it did. And I was swinging into a site and just barely rubbed a truck that was sitting in the, that I couldn't see in my mirrors. And anyway, long story, $1,000 later. We did become friends with those people, so that was pretty cool. All right, moving along the front here, this is your bedroom. No, sorry, that's not true. The kitchen area slide out. It's a pretty substantial slide out. You notice you have an awning there with it. It's lighted. That's really it for the outside mechanical aspects. There's a kitchen in this thing. Man, some people really love outdoor kitchens with campers. I'd you know, take it or leave it. For me, I'd leave it more than I'd take it. I just don't really use it that much. That's the other propane storage I mentioned. It's fine. It's been fine. It's got like a 22-inch, 20-inch Blackstone in there. It slides out. It hooks into a quick disconnect LP right there. I mean, all that's pretty cool. I like it. It's easy to use, and again, with all the LP storage, but I'm just not thrilled about it. I don't know. I find it's kind of hard to clean. You know, you get a lot of grease and stuff in there, and it's anyway, I don't like it. I care nothing for an outdoor kitchen, but some people love it, so to each their own. All right, I'm gonna pop inside. Let me think before I step outside or step inside. Is there anything else to see? You'll see along the top here, there are 3 air conditioners. The one in the back comes from the factory with a built-in heat, or it's the heat pump model. So I added the 3rd AC. That was a disaster with the dealership that we got. I'll leave their name off. You could contact me if you really want to hear it, but and the way they installed that AC is horrible, and I recommend you do not just leave that to your dealer, that you pull down the inside air conditioning panel and make sure, because all of those that ducting is connected in there. It's like a racetrack kind of thing. It's a little goofy, and they left a lot of it unflashed, untaped, essentially uninsulated, just exposed into what I call like the truss space in a camper. So it was just sucking heat, just incredibly hot heat into the return air side of that AC, and it was hurting more than it was helping having a 3rd one. Argument with them, ended up fixing it myself and did it right. Now I love the 3rd AC. There's no way I would have a 40-some foot camper without 3 air conditioners, and I'll give you a little bit more about that. I'm gonna pop inside. All right, so cold here today in North Carolina. You might hear the gas heat on. It's about 30 degrees. So inside of this camper, mechanically speaking, slide outs again from the inside. You get a little bit of this like flooring. It has the same type flooring on the slide outs, which I do like. I don't want carpet on them, grandkids. So that's kind of laid up right now, and that's because it's been really cold. And I just recently slid it out. It will eventually lay down. It always does. So yeah, the fireplace here, I think it's a 5,000 or 5K BTU. Fireplace is good. They're pretty much standard now on all these things, and it throws off a lot of heat and does really well. Less mechanical, just kind of a gripe. So this is an Insignia microwave / convection oven. It sucks. I don't like it one bit. It cooks biscuits raw on one side, dark on the other. I don't know what to do with that. This Insignia oven is pretty. Well, the cooktop works fine. The oven itself, no thank you. It does all kinds of weird stuff with hot and cool spots inside of it. It's not great to get the pilot going and to get the oven going. You kind of have to leave the door cracked a little bit. That's not a huge deal till it kind of heats up and gets going. That can probably be pretty common, but anyway, not a huge fan. Everything else in here has been good. I haven't had any water leaks. Yeah, the sink's dirty, y'all. I haven't cleaned it. Thinking back here, nothing else. There is like a place where you can put a wood. It's kind of like a cork board or whatever thing that goes on there to extend your island. We use that when we have lots of people over, which we don't do very much. It's really just family. We're not entertainers or anything. It's a great place to put if you're serving a meal and you need more things out. and you have people coming through, and people can come from outside and kind of, you know, they can kind of circle around, get their stuff, make a mess, head back out. It works pretty good. This layout, you know, you'll find that this is common in a lot of campers, where you'll have like theater seating, queen size pull-out couch, TV. You know, your TV's here. It's in the little hidden thing. It makes a lot of noise. Sounds like it's going to break every time, but it doesn't. I've been pretty happy with this JBL thing. But again, back to the layout. So, you know, the flow's pretty good. You just, as long as you like and you don't mind having your kitchen and living room and dining in an open space, which is really kind of hard to do anything else with a camper, pop into this. This is the second bedroom. So in here you have this couch that makes out into a bed. It's very small. It's like sleeping on an anvil. Little desk. You know, I've used this space some when we've worked in the camper. We work remotely mostly, and so it's nice. My wife and I can find separate spaces if we're on a call at the same time or whatever, and that way we're not aggravating each other. All right, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time right here. So this is the BM Pro. I just, for lack of better terms, I call it a panel. This drives everything mechanically in the camper. You have, man, it's hot in here. I'm gonna turn it down. You have essentially what this is a 7-inch Android tablet behind here, probably not great quality, that's running all of these things. So this is communicating with a board or a control, not a board, but a essentially like a control panel that drives everything also in the camper. So it's actually mechanic, you know, actuating the circuits open and close, on or off. And this is this BM Pro is communicating with this. So, you know, this is where you drive all your HVACs. You see all three of them are there. Anything to do with your tanks, like most campers, this sucks. It worked good for about a month, and then it reports false data, false information. You don't really know what's going on with your tanks. It's just, you know, if you find one that works great, I'd like to hear about it. I've never really seen a red one, but there's probably one out there. This is the leveling from here. Of course, you can do it outside. And almost all the functionality you have on this BM Pro is also repeated or accessible on the Jayco Command. I think it's called J Command app for your phone, and it works really good in terms of communicating with this system. You also have like this where you control all your lights. I have every light cut on right now. It does tire. You see I have a sensor on a tire that's not reporting data. You can buy the little sensors for your 3 propane tanks, which I've done, and the battery has died in all of them. I'm done with that. I'm putting a mechanical gauge on all 3 of mine going forward. That way I can just glance at it and that won't fail me. It'll be fine, and it costs about $20 from Amazon for a pack of 3 of them. It has a refrigerator sensor that the battery has also died in. Not the sensor's fault that the battery's died. It's just things I don't want to maintain. You can see right here that I'm showing 12.3 volts with 3 size group 27 interstate batteries that are 2 years old, that have been at full charge, or I'm sorry, have been plugged in almost the entirety of their life. And I keep the fluid or the water level in the battery up. I do everything I'm supposed to do, and they're awful. So I'm done with that. I'm doing lithium from now on. And this panel, this electrical panel down here, does have the option. It's like a little dip switch that you flip from a traditional wet cell battery to lithium, and it charges it, I believe it, don't hold me to this, it's about 14.4 volts. And a lithium battery sends a constant supply of that voltage to the battery. That's what the lithium battery is looking for, whereas a wet cell, it's, you know, it's constantly moving up and down depending on the state of the battery and where its charge is. You know, it's constantly modifying that. So it's a little different. So it's very important that you, before you just head off and buy a lithium battery, that you make sure that your converter or your converter panel will accommodate that, and that you can charge lithium batteries with it. So we have that in the Montana, and we have 2 size group 24, 27 batteries in there. I forget the brand they are. They're like Expo 360, something like that. US made. They're about $900 a piece. Very expensive. They're fantastic. And anyway, huge fan. That sold me. This is like a remote or satellite for your for the inverter. I haven't had a minute's trouble with any of that. It all works great. Some people, I see some weird stuff online about people traveling, you know, heading down the road with their camper. How many batteries do I need to keep my refrigerator running? And You'll see some guys will say, man, you got to have like a bank of 6 batteries, and all of that's nonsense. If your truck is, I was towing this one with a 2019 Duramax Chevrolet 3500 Duramax dually, and now I have a little bit newer, or quite a bit newer GMC Duramax dually that I'm doing the same thing with. I find that when I tow, even with these crappy interstate deep cycle batteries, the voltage with the refrigerator kicking in the summertime, running pretty much the whole time we're on the road, I've never seen the voltage drop below 12.6 volts. So what that tells me is that I can drive wherever I want to. As long as there's no issue with the inverter, which there's not, it's performing properly, then I can power my refrigerator indefinitely when I'm on the road. So to all you folks that are out there that think that you need these huge battery banks and all this stuff, you don't. I would argue that one 100 amp hour size group 24 lithium battery that's performing as it should, and your inverter is performing properly, and your truck is providing, you'll have to forgive me, I forget the amperage that's coming from that truck, but it's not much. Into that, you're good. If that stuff's working right, you can tow however far you want to. So it's no problem. Bathroom, no mechanical issues in here. This is a nice bathroom. I like it. This is a choice you make with campers, and you're always making choices. This has one bathroom, so you don't have a lot of storage here. Why in the world Jayco went away from a medicine cabinet the year before and decided to just put this flat mirror and give up all that space? That was stupid. I think they've changed that back now. Then you have this storage over here, kind of hard to get to at the bottom, but you'll figure it out. No issues in here mechanically. You have the controller for the Truma right there. The Truma will keep itself from freezing. I believe you just put it in you'll have to forgive me, I think you just put it in the normal operating mode. I have the power kill to this now, which is there, and if temperature gets below 40, it does like a cycle, to keep itself. It'll run every little bit to keep that internal temperature. You'll see a snowflake or a indicating a below freezing thing there. That is not the same. That energizes something that I do not have, but it's basically a metal rod that gets inserted into that water supply that you connect, obviously electrically, to it. I believe it's very easy to do. It may just be plug and play, and then it's just throwing a little bit of resistive heat into that water supply through that rod and keeping it from freezing, and you can do that there. I've actually never run the cleaning cycle. That's probably something I should do, but this camper just doesn't get a lot of use, so I have it. In the master bedroom, you have these things are kind of goofy. So these are little switches that Jayco has put throughout the camper that drive things. They have like a CR2032 battery in them, common battery, if you know, goofy little nickel or dime shaped batteries. Then or nickel sized batteries, like maybe quarter, they go in there. So I've never had to replace one. It's Bluetooth with the BM Pro system, and you can see all the things that it runs there. If you own one of these and you experience this, don't panic, as I did when I had this happen to me the first time. I came back here to extend the bedroom slide out. I hit the extend button. Nothing happened. And I was like, well, the battery's dead, and did all that. And then I grabbed my phone. And anyway, what I have learned with this is that if you come back here and you don't have any other issues, your battery's fine. And like right now, let's say it's extended and I want to retract it, and I hit the retract button and I don't hear anything, just go ahead and bump your extend button one time, and then you'll hear the motor cut on. Immediately come off of it and then go back to your retract. It's like you just have to wake it up. That doesn't make any sense to me. But if you just bump the button of the opposite direction you want it to travel, then that seems to wake it up, and it'll work just fine. We added this washer and dryer. That's really expensive when you do it from dealerships for the Whirlpool brand. Back then, I think it was like $2,500. You may shake your head and say, man, you got hosed. Yeah, probably. But there they are. And the washing machine had something in the board failed recently, where it was just stuck in this cycle where it was trying to just drain constantly. It made me absolutely nuts. They actually did fix it under warranty, so they sent a tech out, and he got in here, and I disconnected all that for him because I was trying to make it as pleasant as possible. And anyway, he fixed it, and it works fine now. So they've been good. And then nothing in here. People talk about having leaks in. You don't see anything on the ceiling here. That's because where this cap joins at the front of the camper. If you're not careful to make sure that caulk line overhead keeps its integrity, then yeah, you'll get leaks. And you have to imagine that that camper is twisting as you're going down the road and flexing and doing, and you know, caulk doesn't last. That's the nature of it. So just make sure you're checking that. This is the Winegard gateway that does for the TV. So you know, it has a little dome on top there, so it can pulls in the TV signal all the way around. It actually works pretty good. I don't use it for any of the Wi-Fi stuff or anything like that. We use Elon Musk's thing that is escaping me right now. I can't think of it, but for the internet, Starlink. That's what it is, and it is great. It's expensive, but it's great. And other than that, we've had MiFis and things like that we've used, or just used our phones and been fine. So I think mechanically, I've covered it. It's going to be pretty cool, I think, once my wife has had her way in here, and it's going to have new furniture, all new paint and all that. So there'll be some follow-up videos of how all that turns out. And she wants to replace a lot of these pendant lights and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, woman, that's, you know, these are DC. They're, you know, 12-volt stuff. I don't know how all that's going to work. And that, she assures me that, you know, hundreds of other people have done it, and I'm sure she's right. So I'll get into that. And I know there's different types of bulbs and there's different types of fixtures and all that, but that's, you know, AC and DC don't mix, as you guys know. So again, I think mechanically that's it. This camper, the only thing that's wrong with it right now is the main awning won't work. And I believe I hear it click like it's sending a signal to the motor. So my gut is that the motor has just failed. So I'll probably take that on myself. I'm not fixing it right now because I may not even fix that till we get it down to where it's going to be permanently hooked up there at the coast. But I haven't had any issues with this camper. Let's go back to the AC. So this third AC, that's the panel that you pull down. There's only like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 screws in there. And then boom, you have access to the inside of that AC. They will throw some junk in there, and they'll tell you that it's great, and it's the worst thing you've ever seen. I mean, I went around and around with them on that, and I was not happy, and I made it known all the way up to the VP of operations for that RV dealership, and anyway, just check it. Because it makes a huge difference in how your ACs perform. And you can go on here and see all kinds of stuff where people have done. They make some like pre-made, pre-molded kits for the inside of these that stop a lot of that air leakage, and it's worth it. It really matters. So this thing can be sitting out in the baking sun, 95 degrees in the summertime, no shade anywhere. And now that I have gone through and taped all these internally like I'm talking about, and you have 3 ACs, you can make it what you want in here. If you want it 68, all 3 will run to get to 68, but it will do 68. And there may be people out there to say there's no way no, it will. I mean, I can show you. And I don't have reflective, you can see, I don't have any, reflective stuff over my window. Now, granted, I have the sun blocking shades down to achieve that, yeah. But it will do it. And I have read where people said they have only 2 ACs and they have regretted it because it really struggles in the summertime. And plus, going back to thinking about having redundant equipment, if you have young children or if you had someone handicapped or somebody that was, just couldn't bear it, and you really needed your mechanical stuff to work, then I like that redundancy of having a third air conditioner. That way, if I lose one, well, okay, I'll fire up the other one and we'll make it on the trip. It might not be that comfortable, but we'll get through it. And the way that I have found that works the best is, let's say I'm trying to make it 70 degrees in here. Yeah, we like to keep it cool. Then I will set the main AC in the back and the one in the front at 70. Keep in mind, they're all tied in together through the ducting. And then I'll set this third one at 71 or 72. So it's not really, the only time that it's coming on to contribute is if the door's been open for a while, or if it's a really hot part of the day, then boom, it comes in and starts to contribute to that cooling, that demand cooling, and then brings it back down. And then that's kind of how I do that, because I do find that one is a bit louder, and I don't really enjoy all that sound in here. So I think that's it for this one. So as always, you can reach out, message me through YouTube or whatever, and if you have questions about this camper, happy to answer it. I have owned it, as I said, for coming on 3 seasons, so I've learned quite a bit about it, and we'll go from there. So I have another one now. I have a Montana rear kitchen. I'll end up doing a video about it. It'll be a while. It's in deep storage now. But again, this one, as we redo it, I'll post the redo results and the big reveal. And I mean, I'm being smart about it, but I think that what my wife has planned for this, it's actually going to be pretty amazing, and it's going to have like a beach theme, and you know, no wall in here will be untouched, and so it's going to go from like dark camper. Traditionally, I don't know why camper manufacturers think that people want dark in a small space. That makes no sense to me, but that's what they do. They're moving away from that, most of them, but our Montana's not that way. But anyway, we're gonna fix all that. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. So I forgot to talk about one part of this, and that is the Lippert hydraulic leveling jacks, or of course they level. It's the hydraulic jack system. This is the panel that you operate it from. No frills in there. It's in your little mechanical wet bay, whatever. That's pretty standard. So this Lippert system is really voltage sensitive. Why that becomes such a problem in my current configuration is with those wet cell batteries. As soon as you start to, if you're not connected to shore power or the generator's not running, then when that hydraulic motor kicks on, which is electric over hydraulic, then all of a sudden the voltage just drops out of the bottom and it goes below 11.8, and then it throws a fault code, and it also stops the hydraulic motor. So it is incredibly aggravating, and I do not know why Lippert is so voltage sensitive there. But I'm not electrical or hydraulic engineer, mechanical engineer either, so maybe there's a reason. But I noticed on my Montana, it is not that way, but I also have the lithium battery bank in there. Like I mentioned, the two 100 amp hour batteries, and so I would imagine that has a lot to do with it too. The voltage just doesn't fall out of the bottom as it does with these traditional deep cycle batteries. So anyway, that's why I go on and on about batteries and the things that aggravate me, because that's aggravating. It is. And then I've seen some people say that, and I haven't verified this, that Lippert recommends that you do not connect to shore power in order to run the hydraulic jack. So that's the opposite of what I have to do to make the system work at all. But anyway, just wanted to drop that little note in there so that's why I'm going to be using lithiums from now on. That's it.